woman, classy, beautiful woman, mighty woman, classy, beautiful woman, mighty woman, classy, beautiful woman, mighty woman, classy, beautiful. Good morning, Facebook fam. Y'all thought we weren't coming on today. Psych your mind. Had a little technical difficulty, but the morning tea with mommy is up and running. It's your girl, Neo Soul recording artist Lahla-Hadiya, back again for another segment. And I hope you guys are with us. I know you've been patiently waiting. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your patience. We are here and we are ready to talk and chat today. What is going on? I want to know how you're doing. Let me see those thumbs ups and those hearts. There they go. And those happy faces. Let me know you guys are awake. Good morning. How y'all doing? I'm good. Let me go ahead and see if I can get my co-host on here so that we can get this topic started. This is something that is dear to her heart because this is what she want to talk about. So I want to talk about it too. So let me go ahead and bring her on. I think I saw her moving around in the green room. Hey, there is a
Good
beautiful
morning.
face.
You caught me. You caught me beating up my face. Actually,
Beat
beating up
don't
my lip.
don't
But
your face.
coffee cup got. Anyway, hi. How is everybody? Good morning. Good morning. Morning. It's a beautiful day in my neighborhood. Nice and foggy. Well, it's kind of foggy, kind of cloudy, but it's a beautiful day. How are you? You look bright
To
eyed.
me, I am.
Yes, you do.
Wake up.
You must have had a good evening.
I told you it's this new mattress, man. I gotta change my bedtime. I don't know how I'm gonna do that because
Yes. Got to get more sleep.
it's supposed to be
I think
comfortable.
I got too much sleep. I had a busy day. I had a nice little outing on yesterday with some of my favorite people, and it was wonderful. Had a wonderful time. How is everybody out there in Facebook land? Everybody's great. I'm fine, thank you. I am almost balanced. I was kind of discombobulated earlier, uh, technology troubles, but
I
hey,
wasn't going to tell them all that. I wasn't going to tell them it was you. I wasn't going to say nothing.
it was me. It was me.
We was
It
just going
was
to
me.
make it a team effort like the show was having some time.
I told you I need a number one techie person. I need an assistant over on this side.
One day we're going to shock y'all mind.
My squirrel baby isn't doing it.
We're going to be in the
He's not
same
cutting
place.
it.
So we don't have to troubleshoot Mama Lou.
Yeah, I tell you, I need a techie person over here. Well, actually, I can do without the techie person. I think I just need some new equipment, some additional equipment. But other than that, life is beautiful.
Wait a minute, she said, oh, I was about to say, look, Vanita, you was about to get her in trouble. She said, Vanita said, you said an outing, where'd you go? And I was about to be like, yeah, wait, y'all missed that part. I think I zoned out. I told
I'm
y'all,
glad you asked.
I be zoning. I was about to say, where'd you go?
I'm glad
It
you
was with me.
asked. Let's see, where did I go? Well, actually, I went on my weekly visit to the Castros and saw my babies at work. The two older ones were at work. My knee baby was on a how you say teacher break or
Well, no,
whatever they
it was
whatever they do on
independent study,
Wednesdays.
is what it is.
Whatever they do. At any rate, and
She
so,
trying
but
to get out
everything,
of.
I enjoyed myself and had an opportunity to observe, you know, observe the teachers at work or at play. But no, actually, everything was great. My knee baby they were glad to see me. All my babies were glad, and I, of course, was so happy, glad to see them. Um, it just gives me an extra boost to see that young energy. And of course, baby girl, left up to her, I should have lots of energy because she generates energy. She generates energy. Little Lovey, my namesake, Lavinia. Yes, that's my namesake.
And she act just like
But
you spoiled.
some parts of her, she does. I have to say, she remind. Have you ever had an out of body experience? I think I have one every time I
Lord,
see
we
her
not we
because
not gonna do that. We not gonna do that.
she reminds me of when I was little. She really does. Some things, anyway. I don't know if I was as active as she was, but she does. She reminds me. But our topic today,
Go ahead, talk
wow,
about it.
what keeps you balanced in life and at work, at home, at school, at play? What keeps you balanced? Well, I already kind of gave you a hint of what keeps me balanced. But I want to hear what keeps you guys balanced.
So what keeps you guys balanced?
Yeah. What keeps you balanced, Lala?
What keeps me balanced?
Mhm.
I think all of the things that I am involved in keeps me balanced because if either one of them were to drop away, I would probably fall because
Good
they're
answer
all holding me up at this.
for you.
It is. They are all what is holding me up. Um, Knowing that I'm responsible for all these different entities, and so if any one of them were to shift without something coming in its place, I would probably fall over. And
And my visual immediately zoomed in on Lady Liberty holding those balance scales. Okay. And of course, my Liberty is Christ. Christ has given us everything, and our job is to balance it, is to keep those things in balance and harmony with each other, with one another, with each other. For me, the thing that keeps me balanced is being humble in realizing who I am, whose I am. You guys may be tired of hearing it, but hey, get with it because you're gonna be hearing it for as long as you guys are listening and tuning in to us. And I'm hoping that that's forever, as forever that we're on the air. But yeah, forever, ever, ever. But yes, I I consider myself an humble person. I choose to be humble. Um, Usually, even when I was actively at work, I walk into a room, a meeting, or what have you. I observe. I'm an observer. My periscope is just, and I listen. And there used to be this commercial or whatever when E.F. Hutton speaks, everybody listens. So after I've observed and listened, and then I will put my little 2 cents worth in. And it's usually not a lot. It's just blip, one could be most times one sentence or one thing that I would share to give substance to whatever is happening around me. And sometimes I don't speak at all. It's just my presence. It's my presence.
it
Yes, my
is.
presence.
It is.
Um, but yeah, being humble, um, and somewhere in the book of James, in the Bible book, I want to say fourth chapter, it speaks of humbling yourselves before the Lord. And when you do that, and this is true story, when you humble yourself to the Lord, He will lift you up. You don't need your coworkers, your supervisor. You don't need the people around you. You don't even need your family members to lift you up. The Lord will lift you up when you humble yourself. And that is Thinking back to that balance scale, Lady Liberty, not Lady Liberty, but God, balancing, He gives you everything that you need to get the job right.
This is true.
And, the older I get, this side of my life, I I take Him at His word. You said that, I believe it. I accept it. And, it works for me. It really does. I very seldom, if ever, allow things to trouble me for any long period of time. I initially have concerns, certain things that happen. And I said to you the other day that usually no news is good news, but with my family, my lovely, lovely children, no news sometimes, most times means
I'm asleep.
check up on them.
No news means
Check up on them because you never ever know what's going on with these guys. And I think that's our job as the elders, as family, the village, to check up. We was it yesterday, day before, we were talking about checking on people, right? So this all fits in. It fits in. Keeping a balance. What keeps you balanced in life and work and play, at home, at school, at play? What keeps you balanced is remaining humble, realizing you don't have to do everything yourself. Hint, hint. You don't have to do everything yourself.
unless you
That,
write it down.
you know what? As a leader in the administrative side of me, as a director, when I had my learning center, when I managed whatever project I was managing, the goal was to delegate, delegate. And that is the problem I see with a lot of leadership. A lot of weak leadership don't want to delegate, or they don't know how to delegate, or they choose not to delegate. But a good leader delegates. You and I've been in a many settings where the leaders of whatever the groups I was in, they would use it voluntold. They voluntold certain people to do certain things. And a good leader surrounds themselves with positive people, strong-willed people, smart people, and that in itself should create a balance, so that the most you have to do as a leader is to not micromanage, but just hone in on the weak areas, and continue to delegate, continue to lend support. And that is what I see missing with the leaderships that are crumbling, or the leaderships that where the people are, whatever the project is weakened, or it's just falling apart. Being humble, allowing your source of refuge to to continue to inspire you, to lead you. I've said a lot, but it all boils down to um, allowing that balance, and the center of your balance. If you're visualizing like that Liberty scale, the center of your balance is your creator, your creator. Somebody created you. I know your mom birthed you, but somebody created your mom and her mom, and so on and so on and so on. So, and I rely on that. And I think the older I get, the more I rely. I rely on my source of strength, you know. I'll stick attacking that for now.
So, well, let me ask you all. Let me ask you all. What keeps you balanced? Um, what balances you out between work and your home life? Um, do you have a balance, or are you all in on work and you're slacking in your home life, or are you all in on your home life and slacking on your work? What is it that balances everything for you? Um, because some people don't know how to do that. Some people, you give 100%. However, it's a little difficult to give 100% on all sides. Like, if you're giving 100 here, you're slacking over here. And so my mom made a good point, as far as God being the center of everything. And we talk about this a lot, staying in that constant communication with him, so that he can give us all of the things that we need, all the necessities in order to balance out everything that we are responsible for and purpose to do and be a part of. But I want to, for those in the back, who are like, all right, here they go again, you know, it's so churchy, and if talking about God is churchy, then we just gonna be churchy all day, because I can't even function without him. And so in my conversation, he's always gonna come up somehow or some way. However, I want to break it down for the people in the back who kind of need it in layman's terms. What is keeping you unbalanced? What is keeping you unbalanced? Let me ask that question. What is causing you to dig straight into work, and then you're noticing that, dag, I haven't, the last time I sat down with my babies and had a giggle was like in forever. What is keeping you in balance? Is it stress of trying to balance? um is it the demands on one thing that seems like it's overtaking, so you kind of have to pull away from the other thing? Like, what is keeping you from being balanced? Because the go-to is, the Lord is my center, the Lord is my strength, and he should be. At the same time, there are people who are having some real life struggle with balancing the things in their life, and the Lord is still their center. The Lord is still, they still are like, God is my rock. Oh my gosh, my job is driving me crazy. They have me writing another contract, and I'm supposed to be sitting down listening to this project that my daughter just turned in for school. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is keeping you from being completely balanced in all of the things that you have on your plate? What is heavier? You you know.
And that's that's a very good thing to hone in on. I'm a visual learner. I know this. Um, I have to see, and I'm kinesthetic also, a mixture, because I have to, when I see stuff, and I've always taken notes, always. So once kinesthetic in the sense that I have to do something with what I'm seeing, take notes, and then I go back and revisit those notes, and the ideas just, sort of, there's like a huge bulletin board before me, and then I visually pick out those things that are most important in terms of what what the priorities are. Okay. And have you ever have you ever sat down to eat a meal, and when you're done you still feel empty? It's You haven't really placed those things on your plate to balance out a diet, a real solid healthy diet. So you're going to walk away still hungry. Have you ever in life, um, you have a good paying job, you have nice little family, white picket fence, maybe even a dog, a cat, maybe not a frog or a turtle like the Castros, but you have those things, picturesque, ideal seemingly, but yet you still feel empty. Have you ever had those feelings? And La mentioned this, which is very important. You have, things on your job that you're responsible to and for. You have a family, so obviously you got into that situation with some ideals and ideas, that things you wanted to happen or take place. You have children, starting out from pre-K to graduating from college, you know, and even when they're grown and gone, it's like that's your family, that's your responsibility. And of course, as your children get older, your responsibilities kind of, fall back. Like in the military, fall back, and they ideally would take the baton and move forward. If you're married in a relationship, uh, you get into it knowing, you either take those vows, either the ones that uh, already copied for you, or, or you've written your own expectations for this relationship. So you have those that must or should be followed. All of these things, and thinking again of that balance scale, or even in terms of a circle, where the center of that circle is your source of strength. And for me, I see Lala's eyes just radar, just
I was reading
for
something.
me.
Sorry. I was listening. I was reading something. I apologize.
I almost wish I had some sound effects. I would have said dun 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 dun. But the idea, I told y'all I'm a visual. So the idea is you have the center of your strength and the balance, and then you have those things stemming from that. The idea is to be able to accommodate the necessities, the priorities of those things, where you fit in. Okay. And again, the an ideal leader of the pack, has certain responsibilities, yes, but you must be able to decide which of those responsibilities are really yours and which should be delegated. Oftentimes, the people who come home tired from work, it's because not just you're doing your job, but you're in somebody else's lane.
Hmm.
You either take it upon yourself, or whoever the leadership is has dumped it on you. Tell it like it is. Tell the truth, shame the devil. In a home, then okay, you're already tired because you put in a day's work and you brought home some work, which is a no-no. Then you have your family that you've obligated yourself to. And again, you're taking on more responsibilities than you really should. You have to delegate at home as well. Everybody has a responsibility to this family circle. Everybody, even the dog and the cat and the turtle and all that,
Man.
you know. And the concern is the problem, and problems are created by us. Yeah, we create our own problems most times. Whether you created the situation or you neglected to handle it from your standpoint in the way it should be handled. You know, either you didn't, you know, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Yeah.
So if you didn't, you know, adequately give your input at the proper time and in the space where you could have, should have, then it's gonna, you know. So and I had to learn this, and I'm still learning. Do I know it all? Heck no. But I'm still learning, even though my responsibilities now are less than when I was in the working world and when my children were small, younger. You know, of course, even retired and even when you're as you get older, you still have responsibilities.
Mhm.
That's what keeps us going. It really keeps me going, and to deal with those responsibilities. What do you guys think?
I read two comments, and I'm gonna merge them together. I want to say welcome to my brother Frank, Missy's brother. That's my big brother from high school. Um,
Oh,
and he said something, and then Antoine said something as well. And so, one of the comments was, we get we get weary because our faith gets weary. And then the other comment was, sometimes we put more than we should. We put in more than we should, and become tired because we keep pushing,
and
because we know things have to be done. And
yeah.
so sometimes
Mm,
we as me, y'all, we as me, and I'm guilty of that because I'm one that finds myself, more so, well, now more than I used to, I'm beginning to walk into those air pockets that God provides for me to just stop and breathe, right? But in the past, I was one that was burning the candle at both ends because I'm like, oh, it's got to be done, and because he's allowing me to see this vision, it must be me that has to execute the vision, and so I feel like I'm the one that has to do it all, and if it needs to be done, and if it must be done, then I gotta make sure it's done. I can't wait to see if you're gonna do your part, and that's the deception that I've given myself, is that because God showed me the vision in something, that I'm the one who has to execute every part. Like, I may say to like I said to my older children yesterday, I told you we have a 100-foot aquarium, and I said I need you guys to clean the turtle cage. I need you guys to clean the aquarium out. And so I said that to my daughter,
did you
but
say 100 foot?
did I say 100 foot? I don't know what it is. It's not 100 foot, Lord.
You know what? You know
That's a
what?
lot.
Just
It's
to
it's a
give
it's a
audience a chance.
what do you call
You
it?
know, I have a
100.
100 foot driveway,
It's more than 100 feet.
and I'm
Your
in
driveway is longer than
that.
that, but it's not 100 foot. And y'all let me say that the other day, didn't y'all? And y'all didn't stop me. See what I'm saying? So anyway, it's a big aquarium. I forgot what the specs of it is, but it's huge. It
It's
covers the
huge.
whole wall.
It's
And
huge,
so I
but
told her, I said, this aquarium has to be cleaned out when you guys get out of school. Clean the aquarium out. And so she was struggling because she was trying to pick up this. Now, the wall is like a standard size wall. The wall is covered with a mirror, a big mirror. So it's a standard size wall, and the aquarium covers the wall. So she's trying to almost drag the aquarium into the kitchen. And there were other siblings around her, that some were watching her do it and some were just there, and because she knew that it had to be cleaned, she just took it upon herself to do it. And the struggle, that's where the struggle came. And it was challenging, very challenging, because it's like, oh my gosh, this thing is heavy. I can't do it on my own. I can't do it by myself. And rather than say, come back to the person who gave her, the instruction and the vision of this has to be clean, then and say, hey, um, can they help me with this, or can you help me with this, or what's the best way to get this into the kitchen to be cleaned out, which a lot of times we don't do that. We don't say, okay, God, I see it. I see the plan that you have for me, right? What's the best way for me to execute this? God, my siblings are sitting on the sofa. Am I to ask them? Are they a part of the plan? Because I can carry one end and he can carry the other end, and somebody else can spray it out. Like what? Having that communication with the creator, having the communication with the person who actually created the thing in the first place, is so necessary and key to the balance of it all. Because just because you're the one that he gave the vision to, you're the one that he gave the instruction to, does not mean that you're the only player. You may be a key player, but you're not the only player. You're not the only one that is necessary in the execution of the instruction, right? And so in order for you to know how to clearly balance it so that you can get the job done, you got to have that communication with him. You got to talk to him constantly. Constantly. If as a parent you give your child an instruction, um clean your room. And I tell my children, like, when I come in there and I'm like, not that's not what you need to do, or this isn't clean, or they're like, mommy, it's taking forever, I've been cleaning it all day. And I'm like, but you haven't even asked before you walked away, how would you like it clean? What's the best way for me to clean this, mom? What's the best way for this to be done? That's the same thing. God is sitting there waiting. Like, I told you to clean, but that didn't mean we couldn't converse about it. That didn't mean that I was not accessible for you to say, what's the best way to get this done so it's done to your liking? And if we as children adopted that mindset when we're dealing with the things that God has put on our plate, God, what is the best way for me to effectively consume this so that one side of my plate is not weighted because I've picked this up to deal with and now this is falling down? Like, what is the best way? How because he gave it to you, so he knows how he fixed the plate. So he's the one that can actually give you the clear, concise instruction, step by step, if you need. Like, he can walk you through the process. It's not even all the time one of those, you do this and the third, and now you got to go and execute and remember everything he just said. Like, he literally is like, yo, well, just call me, I'm right here. Like, I feel like talking anyway. Like, I like communing with my child. Like, I want to chat with you, and I didn't say that I wouldn't come sit in the room while you clean. I could cop a squat and we can talk, and then I'm here. you know I'm here, and I'm right here. Like, you can say, hey, does this look right here? That's what he wants for us to do. Relationship. Yes, I say cop a squat.
Yeah, my visual. I told you I'm a visual learner, and you know what I visualize, y'all? I visualize Celie on Color Purple when she got the rocking chair watching Mister make a mess in the kitchen.
Yo,
No, but
sometimes that's
seriously,
what
I
that's
feel
what
you.
our God is doing. He's sitting
That's
right
what
there,
He's doing.
and he's
That
in the
is cop
room.
your squat. Cop your squat, people. You know what? You said a mouthful. You said a lot. You packed a lot into what you just said. There was a lot. And it goes back to being able as a leader, and you become a leader in whatever the task is you've been given. You're the initiator there, but it does not limit you from tacking on your resources. First thing, go back to the person that delegated and gave you that responsibility, making certain that you have the information that's going to help you take care of the task at hand. That's the first thing. Make sure you got the information correct. And oftentimes, not just children, adults, they'll take an assignment and run with it without having all of the ins and outs and, what it is that needs to be done. That's a big part of the problem of us leaving that assignment drained or been out of shape mentally, physically, and even boils down to health wise, because you get many people have gotten ulcers as a result of just stressing themselves out. And stress is a killer. That has already been researched, determined.
Mhm.
So you stress yourself out over something you could have dealt with from the outset. And with children, I say children, whether it's children mentally, because you have a lot of adults, and I think we've mentioned this before, you have even adults who are still in that childlike stage. You know, again, the good book says, when I became a man, I put away my childish things. And you have a lot of people, men, women, all ages, who have not put aside their childlike things they did as a child. Not saying that all childlike things are bad, but you mature. As you grow, you mature mentally, physically, have every kind of way. Again, creating that balance. So, when you delegate a responsibility, parents, to delegate, and then you go in there before you know it, you've done the job. What have you taught? What have your kids learned? You know, even, kids, grown kids are still, you know, uh, responsibilities have been snatched from them. They go into life not knowing stuff they should have learned when they were children, children. Um, and another, there are a lot of issues that kind of skew this whole thing, and it's because, for the most part, leadership, whether it's a parent, a supervisor, a pastor, or whomever, they preach or give responsibilities, but they don't allow for the people to carry out those responsibilities or to do their part. Everybody, there was a song back in the day, everybody plays a part, okay? And that is so true. Stay in your lane, number one. Hello, stay in your lane. On a job, like I said, when I was teaching, I learned this quickly. It's not you that should go home tired. The kids should go home tired because you are working, you are keeping them constantly engaged to the point where when they get home, and parents, maybe this is why some of your kids come home and they first thing they want to do usually before they take a nap or lie down is to eat a snack. You know, most times that's what they do. And my grandson, we had the biggest joke with him. I call him Fat Man, and he wasn't fat, but he loved to eat. When he got a snack, and I would always pick in and say, "Is that a snack, or are you eating dinner early?" Because he'd have like a full course meal sometimes for a snack, and the sisters would just chuckle and laugh about it. But the thing is, even children, when they come home, oh, I'm watching the little squirrel scamper down the tree. Oh, wow. Excuse me. I was just, yeah,
Which
random. But yeah, the children should have, back in the day, we had responsibilities. Now, my dad was insistent that certain things, we had chores after school, but a part of those chores was to get your homework done, you know and certain things when they came home from work had to be done. It was not an option. It was not a multiple choice thing, pick and choose or whatever. You had certain things that you knew you were responsible for, and no mama nor dad and certainly not dad, was going to get in there and help you. You either get it right first time or the second time, or you suffer the consequences. But many times parents will delegate, they'll tell children to do stuff, but then before you know it, they've gotten in there and they've done the job already. What else is there for the kid to do? And what did they learn? Okay. um I used to say this to my school kids. They'd say, "Oh, you're so smart. Oh, how you learn all of that?" Yeah, a lot of it I learned in school, but most of it I learned through experience. Actually, I learned from my kids, you know, and I learned from other people what to do, what not to do. I learned from bad leaderships. I had the pleasure when I retired of telling the worst, yes, I said the worst administrator I've ever had in my entire 40 some year career. I said to him, I thanked him because it was your ill leadership that made me soar, really, for real. That's a pleasure to be able to, you talk about a balance in life, to be able to say that and then walk with your head high and just stretch yourself. right on out the door. And that's a good feeling when you can walk away from any task feeling balanced, feeling, you're humble because you thank God. And I did. I thank God for giving me the strength, the fortitude, and everything I needed to persevere this ill leadership. And I made it as Canton Spirituals. I made it. I made it through all of the adversities. I made it. And what better feeling of balance when you can get through life, through whether it's at home, at school, at play, you can get through life feeling balanced.
You
You're
said
not all
something. You
one
said
sided.
something so key. You said something in regards to like a parent and a child, and how we can give instruction to a child and then we end up doing it. And the thing is, when I look at that, as a parent, when you tell your child, like, I remember the first time I told my oldest daughter to wash dishes. Um, she saw me wash dishes. Like, I showed her how. I showed her how. So I wouldn't have to do it anymore after telling her, go in there and wash the dishes. I literally was the model for you. I showed you how, like, each thing that I've ever given the children to do as a task, I've done it first. Now they wash clothes. They're able to wash clothes effectively because the first time I wanted them to wash clothes, I went down there and I did it and had them watch me. And so they saw what I did. They saw the steps that it took for me to effectively clean the clothes and then transition them from the washer to the dryer, and then from the dryer to upstairs and folding and putting them away. They saw the whole process. And when you think about it, God gives us instruction, but he showed us. Like, he sent his son, and his son did everything. He modeled everything. He modeled how to get through adversity. He modeled how to deal with your purpose and still walk in your purpose, being stressed out from the people who are like, yo, what are you doing? You stupid, you crazy. What is this? This ain't real. Like, this isn't your task. Like, this isn't your purpose. He showed us how to, when we get weary, because Jesus got weary. He cried. He was like, like, yo, like that. But in the next breath, he was like, but not my will, your will be done. And so when we're in situations, we've already seen a model of how to get through life. And so the things may not be the same. Like, I may be I may be juggling work, a career, a business, 6 kids, animals, a husband. Somebody else may just be juggling work and school. Somebody else may be just juggling a child and work. But he's still giving us a clear example of how to move and navigate through it. And so we have the example, and then he's there. Like, I am accessible to my babies when they have to execute the jobs that I have given them. You're washing dishes and you're like, Ma, so I got this pan now, and this wash rag isn't doing it. But you gotta open your mouth and talk. You gotta open your mouth and have that conversation. Ask those questions in order to make your life easier. Now, she can sit there and be like taking a butter knife trying to scrape the whatever is on the pan off that she's allowed to stick, because she didn't remember that I said when you have pans like that, you put them in and you pour water in it so it's soaked so that nothing sticks to the pan. So by the time it's time for you to wash dishes, it's not at this point. A lot of times we do that. God has said, hey, when you see this, when this happens, when you're at work and somebody is trying to sabotage your name, you come in there prayed up already, so that when they begin to sabotage your name, it does not stick, and you're able to continue with your job and show why you came, why you were hired, why you're in this position. When we miss that part, right? When we miss the initial This is what you should do to prepare for that moment when we miss that. And now we're in the midst of somebody sabotaging our name. Don't just sit there and consume it and be like, yo, what I do now, man? Do I steal her off the top? Do I walk out? You know what I'm saying? Do I get out of character or get in character rather? You know, instead of saying, God, I need you like right now. And I know what you said, but like I didn't do it. So what do I do here? Instead of us doing those things, we get ourselves in situations where we feel stressed out and we feel unbalanced. We get unbalanced, and you still have the ability to balance yourself with just merely communicating with the creator, with the one who put you on the balance beam. Like, you have the ability to communicate with him and ask him, how is it should I move? Like, how should I move at this moment right here? And we don't do it. And so, this whole thing of how do you balance work, and how do you balance your home life? How do you balance them both together? So many people have said it. Frank, Antoine, Vanita, like, you and my mom, like having God as the center, but not just having him there as a statue, having him there as the centerpiece on the table, but it actually being a vital part of you becoming balanced, or keeping yourselves balanced, or balancing yourself. Not just having him sit there as the center and saying, yes, the Lord is my rock. And then in the next breath, you're like, yo, she is getting on my last nerve. Like, I'm about done with this job. Like, not just having him as the centerpiece, but utilizing, why he's there in the first place. You have him in the right position. Now all you got to do is utilize him for what he is supposed to be utilized for. He is our father. He is our creator. He is the author of it all. So, like, why not say, hey, God, I got you here. You're in the center. So I know you see me. I know you see. I'm over here now. I'm dealing with this. This is driving me nuts. What should I do? We have to be able to be humble enough, like mom said, humble enough to say, God, I need help. One last thing. My baby girl, the baby girl, she's learning a lot, and she is the boss. Like, she really thinks she boss baby. And so, one thing I've observed and noticed about her is this. She's very independent, and she'll take a thing and try to execute what she's seen you do. Like, so she see me do something when I'm bringing the groceries in. So I have a system. And I didn't even realize the 2-year-old could realize that was a system. But I have a system in bringing the groceries in the house. And so when she picked it up on it, she began, mommy, I got. And she'll try to bring the bags in a certain way. And so one day she was so anxious to get this bag, and I'm just like, just sit them right there. And so she's trying to, I bring them in, sit them at the door, inside the door, so I can close the door. Then I take them, and I bunch by bunch, if the children not around, and my husband, then I'm bringing them bunch by bunch and putting them on the dining room table so I can begin to unpack them, right? And so when I set them at the door, she's now like, the next step is to take them and walk them in the dining room. And so when she grabbed a bag, it was heavy. And I watched her when I was coming in, tug at it a little bit, and she, and then she said, Mommy, help. Mommy, help. And she's pointing at the bag like, this one I can't grab. And I was like, wow, and I wondered how long she would struggle
That's
with it.
powerful right there. That's powerful.
But when she saw me there and
That's
she
powerful.
realized, Mommy, I've seen her carry it, so it can be done. And I've seen her carry it, so even if I can't, she can. And now my mommy's here. So I'm like, Mommy, I need help. And that's something that we need to adopt and learn to do. Like, we've seen
Absolutely.
the process. God has given us the blueprint, and he's allowed his son to come down and actually carry it out, so we know what it looks like. But
Absolutely.
sometimes when we're in the execution stage of doing that task, then it's heavy. And we're like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I saw him move it, but I can't move this. And
Exactly.
we have to be able to turn around and say, Daddy, I need help.
Mm. Those are powerful words right there. And that, that's, as you would say, that's the hook right there, is knowing your strength
Mhm.
and tapping into the resource of your strength, you know, the originator of your strength, and whomever you choose to believe in. That's not our job to make, as God doesn't make us. He has the power to make us do whatever he wants to do. He's the creator, but he doesn't. He's given it to us, and he stands watching as a mother, as a parent, looking for any times where we need his help. Our job is, hey, I need help, like the baby says, I need help. You show them how, and because mom, Lala has shown them what to do, they've watched her, and now they should be able to do what the parent does. And brought up another interesting point, and my point of closure here is in the teaching profession. And when I was, whether I was training teachers, whether I was my students, I trained my students to do what I do. When I taught a fifth grade class, it was either a fifth grade class, fourth grade. My When we went to cafeteria, and back in the day where we did, the cafeteria, the lunch shifts or whatever, my kids, everybody knew my kids. They knew my kids because they would wait till the last person in their class got through the line, and we sat down and we ate family style together. I ate with them to a certain point, and they respected that. I trained my kids to the point where if I was ever late or some called, to step outside the classroom with a parent or with the administrator or what have you, my kids carried on because I trained them to do what I do. And my words were, and I want you to do it better, because you not only have the smarts, you have the intelligence, you have what I've given you, and now you take the ball and you run with it. That is, for me, was the key as far as my children, my birthright children. You know, you watched me, my son right now, 40 some year old man. I know I am so confident he would never ever disrespect a woman, a female, because he's watched me in the struggle, and he knows what mom has gone through. So he dares to do anything to take from that womanhood of any woman. The same with my daughter, to know the struggles that her family has been through, our Israel experience. And that's why anyone who would know her know she's so adamant in whatever task she has. But what I'm trying to get her to see is you don't have to do
No,
it all, and it's in her. And she said this. Her drive is, when the job is not done, it's somebody got to do it. Look, before the ship sinks, I've got to, you know. But my thing is letting her know through example, through modeling, that you don't have to even. That's where your faith kicks in. That's where your faith. God's not going to let that ship sink if you've done what He has called you to do. And my last words here, and I promise you this, I'm going to sit down. Know the source of your strength and know how to tap into that source when need be. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I
It's
love you guys with the love of the Lord.
it's true, and I feel that, and this was for me too, guys. So um, a lot of what we talk about is not just us spitting knowledge and like, oh, we've arrived. No, some of this stuff, and that's why sometimes like the topics just come, or we wind up switching the topic before you guys even
Right, right.
see it.
Keeping it real.
Because it's just something that God lays on our spirit. And this morning, that was something that God had laid on my mom's spirit, and it was
Yeah.
so necessary for me to hear, because it brings me back to my center, which is God. And it not only brings me back to him, but it reminds me that hey, he's there for a reason. And so
Absolutely.
a lot of times it's necessary for me to talk to my center, ask him questions, ask him how best to execute this thing, so that it is done correctly the first time, and I don't kill myself in the process of it getting done. And so um,
Save
I'm
yourself.
learning how to do that. Like I said earlier, I'm learning to step into those life pockets of air, where he allows me to step off and breathe. Because he knows me. Like I know my kids. I know which ones are gonna all they got to do is see the task that needs to be done, and boom, they gone. They executing already, regardless of whether the rest of the kids are doing it or not. And so he knows that of me, and so along my journey, I get these little pockets, these little air pockets, I call them, where I get to just step off in them and just breathe,
Oh yeah.
just breathe, plug
Mm,
in to the source, and just
mm.
breathe, so that when I come out of them, I'm like Speedy Gonzalez. I'm out. I'm pure, like I'm on it. Like God, I'm back. I'm rejuvenated, and He knows that of me. And so, what I know of Him is that He knows me, and so I have to take advantage of those things that He has given me along my journey to help in the process, so that I can make it to the finish line. I want to make it to the finish line. I don't want to gas out
That's the
before I get
goal.
to the finish
That's the goal. Absolutely. That's the hook right there.
line. And
It
because
really
I
is.
don't know when I'm going to get to the finish line, I have to learn how to pace.
That's right.
And I'm
That's right.
learning. I'm learning
Yeah.
how to pace, because I'm like, when you can see the finish line, you kind of in your mind like, I'm just gonna give it all I got. But when you can't see the finish line, then you know that you gotta keep pace so that you can make it to the finish line, because you don't know
Mm,
how long you're gonna be running the race. We don't know
mm,
how long we're going to be running the race, because you can't see the finish line. He has not shown you the ribbon yet that you're going to run
mm.
across. You know that it's there, and you know what happens on the other end. He's standing there with all his glory, about to say, ready to say, well done, but you don't see it in your forecast right now. And so, but it's there, and it's coming. You don't know how close it
Absolutely.
is. And so it's
Absolutely.
important for us to learn to pace
Mm,
ourselves, and take those opportunities along our journey to recharge, rejuvenate, so that
mm,
we can stay in the fight and not get gassed out. Not get
mm.
gassed out. I'm talking to
You
myself.
know, that's the
I'm
hook,
talking to
right?
myself.
That is really, you really brought this topic round circle, because when you just now said something in regards to a race and finishing the race. And I'm not a runner, never professed to be a runner. I hated running, but I remember in watching the relays. And this, I'm going to throw this out as a rhetorical question, but one for you to say, think about. In a relay race, a real race, who, which runner do you select to be the last one? Like you have a starter, and then they pass it off to the next, and they pass it off to the, okay, think about who which runner do you select to come into the finish line? Think about it.
You got me thinking now. I ain't gonna be there in the show. I gotta
And
go. I gotta go in one
that's
of my
something you
little
can
air
drop it in
pockets
your
and think about
comments,
that.
because see, we over time, but drop drop it in your comments. You made me think about that. You really did. And I'm not a runner, but I know, and I've watched races, and I often, I'm watching, I'm wondering, like, how did they know to put that person, you know, as the lead person, the person that starts out, then the person in the middle, but the person that pulls it to the finish line? Who's that person in your life? Thinking back to our topic, what keeps you balanced in life and work? For me, it's humility, being humble, humble to the point where I know the source of my strength and I know, therefore, who to consult when my strength gets weak.
And
I love y'all with the love of the Lord.
I love you too.
Today is Thursday.
Today is
Tomorrow
Thursday, so tomorrow we will be
is
revealing
Friday.
that I told you guys we're gonna do Spirit Week. The kids get to do Spirit Week at school. I said, why not us? So we're gonna
Oh,
do
yeah.
Spirit Week too.
I'm
And I'll
super
tell you
excited.
more about that tomorrow on Friday Fun Day. We're gonna have Spirit Week, and that's where you guys get to participate. Don't worry about it. Oh, y'all scared to come on camera. You gotta come on camera, but you will participate, right? Right? Because I love you and you love me. Right. So, thank you guys so much for joining us today. This has been therapy for me today. Like, I needed to hear this because sometimes you just got to be reminded. Even those who are put in position to lead have to be reminded sometimes of certain things so that they can stay grounded, stay rooted, and stay balanced. Right, so that they can continue to walk effectively in that leadership role. And so I needed this. I don't know if this was for anybody else, but hopefully it was. Share it. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are coming up on our ninth season. We have about 18 episodes in each season. And so we're coming up on our ninth season. And I'm excited about that because we've been talking about a lot and we haven't really, went back over anything, which means there's a lot to be talked about.
There's a
Um,
lot.
and so go back and it's still fresh word. Go back and listen to some of those to rejuvenate yourself. Sometimes when you reach those little air pockets in your journey, to just sit and breathe and meditate. Go back and listen to some of the things that we talked about, some of the things that you've said, some of the things that you've written in comments, and even others that can help you along your journey and help you continue the race. Right, it's about the pace and not the speed. Is about the pace of it, the pace of it all, right? So it can be done and done effectively. So I love you. Y'all know Mama Lou loves you, and most importantly, God loves us. Oh, that's why it's important for us to get this. We got to get it right. We got to get it right. We got to get it right. Can't wait to see you guys bright and early. Today's Thursday. Today's Thursday, guys. It's
Oh, it's
Thursday.
Friday.
I got some news for you guys. My youngest son is in a showcase, and I'll give you more information on that tomorrow. But the showcase is on Sunday, and I would love for you guys to be a part and support him and see how he's been working hard aside from just school and his home life.
Is this the one that he was uh,
Is the one he's
taping on
actually
last evening?
auditioning for a few A&R reps and agents.
So that's the one that
Yes,
the
the
showcase.
taping. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
Ooh,
I'll
I'm
tell you more
excited.
about that on tomorrow.
Pushing them
But
on. Mama Lou pushing them out there. Yeah. Who is not
until
Lala
then,
and don't forget Lahla-Hadiya.
yes,
Her
my virtual concert
single
is coming up. I've been getting my vocal cords right because I know y'all like, yo, this show is
me,
good, but
me,
just
me.
think of when she goes sing. So, what's that? What was that? The Five Heartbeats. If y'all's the singer, won't y'all
Won't
sing something?
sing
So
something.
I know y'all like, hey, hello. Let's not forget that you're an artist. Can you
Yep,
sing?
that's right. That's
So
right.
I'm gonna do
That
something so hot for
I'm
y'all.
tell you that single that you dropped is hot. It's timely, and I thought about it this morning. Maxine Waters is on the morning was on the to morning show on the Good Morning Show, WHUR, and was it WH? Yeah, and I get so pumped up, and I thought about your movement song when just hearing her, that sister girl.
Hey, so I'm about to drop that for y'all. Y'all check it out on my
Yeah,
timeline. I'm gonna drop it for
movement.
y'all because we still in the
We,
movement, y'all. We still in the
yes,
movement.
we are.
That's what helps me keep pace. And I guess that's what I wrote it for. It helps me. Why your fist look so? It looks so compact. Like what is happening?
Movement. That's what we did for the movement.
It's got to be a little more powerful. But yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna drop that for y'all because I think that's why it was written. From my
Very
was
timely.
because it helps keep pace, man. I understand why we doing
Yeah.
it so we can keep going.
Hmm.
But we gotta go because I gotta put on my teacher hat. I mean, and my teacher cape because I'm a teacher too. And then I
Yes.
gotta do some work.
Super
So
teacher.
I love you guys. Mama loves you. God loves us all. We're gonna see you here bright and early tomorrow, 7:30, same place, same time. Tomorrow it's Friday Fun Day. So we get to just talk about whatever's on your mind. So come with some stuff to talk about because I'm gonna feel
I'm
like
ready.
talking. All right. To end us out, close us out for the week so that we can enjoy our weekend and do it back over again on Monday if God so wills. But love you guys. It's your girl, Neo Soul recording artist Lahla-Hadiya, wrapping up another segment of Morning Tea with Mommy. Until tomorrow, remember to walk in purpose and not just on purpose. Love you. Peace out.
Love you.
Mighty, classy, beautiful. 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 Mighty, classy, beautiful.